my clowns?
What's up?
Today, we're going to be doing my 50 subscriber special Q&A. Now, the first and only question comes from my existential crisis. And they asked, why? Now, I really appreciate you submitting a question, my existential crisis. But I really don't like questions. In fact, I hate them. And I really don't appreciate it. So, you will never ask me a question again.
My name is Existential. My mother named Anxiety told me it was rude to ever talk with your mouth full. So there you go. Hi, my name is Existential, and today we're gonna be asking Sarah some questions. Okay. Anyways, welcome guys. Welcome to Tiger and All Bar Podcast. That video was real hurtful to my kind, and I saw this and I figured, what has more questions than a freaking court case? Check out this interview. For real though, we talked with Sarah. You know, he agreed to come on the show. He agreed to talk about the origin of his life. Who is Sarah really? We talked about his upcoming tour, what got him into music, adding along from the past interview. So if you haven't seen that with the band and all, go. I linked it down in the description, guys. But like I said, we talked about his origin story. We talked about who Sarah is. What was it like growing up? I know I'm gonna keep repeating myself, so I want to leave the fun to you guys, and you guys get to enjoy. Hey, Pandy, and yeah, it'd be cool to have Sarah on again. So if you want to get him on again, please subscribe. Well, give it a like. Go check out my Spotify. That's always down in the description. Every video, doesn't matter. And yeah, Feliz Navidad. I don't really know, but why? Anyways, have a good day. Say hi to your mom. And this is Ronick. Signing off. Welcome to the Tiger and Old Bear Podcast. Hit it, Jeffrey. There's no Jeffrey. Apologize for that. I appreciate you coming on. It's probably been a couple of months since the last one, so I thought it could be fun to do a one-on-one.
Yes.
So, like, unless you have, I know I sent you all the questions and whatnot, but unless you have any questions, my first thing I just always kind of start off with, like, what was your life growing up like?
Well, growing up, I was always really close with my family, my siblings especially. I didn't have a ton of friends growing up for my first years of elementary school. I was really a really jealous kid because of something that happened in preschool where basically I had a friend, but then my friend had a friend, and that friend was like, "You can't be friends with her because I'm friends with her." And that was so stupid, but it genuinely affected me for the rest of my life.
Still to this day?
Yeah, I've always had terrible jealousy issues because of that, which is so dumb. But, you know, kids are really impressionable, so it makes sense to me. It's just like, come on, why did that have to make me like this? Things kind of fell apart with that group in 6th grade. Made more friends in 4th grade, and you know, I developed depression and anxiety in 6th grade. I don't know. I was a very annoying kid, but I didn't like get into trouble. But I was pretty loud, pretty dramatic.
To be fair, I think a lot of kids are, so I don't think you're far off.
Oh yeah, but I was like very, very dramatic.
Like, how so?
So my siblings and I weren't really into technology until, mm, I'd say I was about 7 when I first learned what YouTube was.
Hey, it's my daily vlog, but it's currently I don't know what time it is, but I'm gonna turn the frickin' TV off. And it's January 3rd, 2015 now, and look at this adorable kitten. So cute, it's so cute. This is Rigby.
And so, like, sometimes we only had one desktop computer. So sometimes if, like, one of my siblings was playing on it, but I wanted to play on it, we would get into, like, a physical fight. But that was mainly just sibling stuff. We don't hate each other. We never have. All my siblings and I were super tight knit. So, I mean, we still talk almost every day. Excuse me.
That's chill. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think like your sister was the one who gave you like your guitar. I think you slightly said in like the previous, like when all of us were together.
Yeah, my older 2 siblings are married and moved out, but my younger brother and I still live with our parents. We did, like, everything together growing up, so there was a really big shift when my older brother moved out to go to college, but, yeah, I don't know, our relationship was always really, really close.
I saw you. I was watching some of the. I just was curious, and I saw like some of the videos on like your on your YouTube. Like I watched like one of your vlogs before this just to I don't know see if there's anything I needed to know, you know. And
Yeah,
I saw that like you said YouTube and your sister you said you know she didn't want to be videoed or what you know so like that kind of
yeah,
goes into what you were saying videos.
yeah,
Has YouTube like always been like a thing? Like I know you're not like it's been a few years instead for like a few years for like recording and whatnot, but like that still can go into like content and you know making videos.
yeah, the first job that I ever wanted was to be a YouTuber. I would say that we're kind of part of the first generation who wanted to be YouTubers actively. Like, that was the dream job, and that was also my dream job. But I just found myself I have really bad, executive functioning skills, which means it's really difficult for me to do things if there's not an external reward or validation, which is why I'm
Like the
great at my
views.
job because I know I'm getting paid for it. But it's really difficult for me to sit down and edit or sit down and film despite the fact that it's something that I do really enjoy doing. So that's why I haven't uploaded in a few years. But yeah, I really, really wanted to do YouTube as a job when I was younger, when I was first introduced to it. But yeah.
What about the views and stuff like that? Like you know because views can be somewhat like you're getting rewarded by that, like likes and whatnot.
Yeah, that's never really affected me that much.
That's not really the same
It's
thing in your mind.
yeah.
Have you ever like went back and watched your videos for just for the fun of it? Because I'm ashamed to say I do that all the time. At least like mine at least.
Oh, I'm unashamed to say that I do it. I
Yeah.
think I'm hilarious. I think that my old content especially is hilarious. And I think that I've always known when I upload something that this is going to be funny to me in 5 years. So yeah, I do go back and watch my old content.
The little kid version.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would do the same because like I was
Yeah.
only like maybe 2 years ago. I was able to like upload. I was able to like get all the footage off of my old iPad from when I was like 10 elementary school, and like I was just like, oh Jesus Christ,
Oh
I am
geez, yeah.
like I only uploaded maybe a few things like photo wise, but still like when you look at like and it's just everything else in general, it's just like when you go back on Facebook, it's just like long story short, it's a really a weird experience.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Do you ever think you're gonna ever like? Do you think those will ever like? You're gonna get to a point where you like keep them?
Oh yeah. I might go through in private some things at some point, but I've left up most of what I want to leave up.
What? You're not ashamed to like when if people like somehow because like I think it's on your Instagram, so usually people could find it.
Yeah, no, I'm not ashamed of it at all because you can clearly see the date stamps. I was clearly really young when I put most of my stuff out, so it's like I don't care if people find it and make fun of it because it's everyone has every right to make fun of the shit that I was posting when I was a kid.
Period.
Yeah.
You mentioned there was a fight between you and some people. I went back to check out those two music recordings, "Sleepless Saturday Night," I mean, and "Selfish." And there was a person in like a white dress, I think. Is that like one of the persons you people you got into a fight with, or who are they?
Oh no, that's my producer actually, and I had her play the bass for our release show. I thought that it would be special since she wrote the bass parts for all of Seventh, my debut record. So yeah, I had her play the bass parts for all of the songs on Seventh.
It's a hard pill to swallow when you've got bottles to down, and I can't help but blame you when I start to drown. Oh, the price of his happiness is my misery. The guise of my love is insecurity.
And she mixed sound for that show too. So she's all around really talented. But yeah, no, we yeah, she was never part of the band. She's always been behind the scenes. So technically she is part of the band, but she's the one
So
making
she's
all of
like,
the
so she's like the
streaming.
fifth member of Jonas Brothers.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
The
She's
brother nobody
behind the
knows about.
scenes making everything happen.
You said in second grade, like I mean, you said like back like I mean, second grade was when like you found music to be enchanting. That's like around the that was like around the beginning to like your story and like with music and whatnot.
Yeah, so I did get interested in music, in creating music in second grade. Um, I'd been singing since I knew how to talk, basically. But second grade is when I wrote my first song. It was just like a 10-second little jingle, basically. But yeah, it was the beginning. I didn't start playing any instruments until fourth grade, and that's when I started playing the cello. I didn't actually pick up guitar until middle school, about eighth grade, I believe. It was mainly just coming up with little jingles, little songs, nothing that I'd actually been through. I didn't start using music as a coping mechanism until sixth grade, and I didn't write anything that I could play on an instrument until eighth grade.
Why's that?
A lot of the songs that I wrote were kind of just vague ideas that were, I guess, pop song-esque. I wrote a few songs about breakups despite having never dated, because there was just I was also a big writer. I wrote a lot of stories, and so that's where I think I began to write stuff that I hadn't experienced because I had a creative mind and I was thinking about what it would be like in that situation. But I wasn't able to start verbalizing my thoughts in a creative form until sixth-ish grade. And I didn't really have, I mean, I didn't really start going through serious issues. Excuse me.
This Joe.
I didn't really start going through serious issues until sixth grade either. So that's when I was able to start using it as a coping mechanism. It was all just lyrics with a melody, and I didn't know how to put it to an actual song. So in eighth grade, when I learned the guitar, that's when I started composing both lyrics and music.
When you say like a coping mechanism. Or like, do you mean that with like your depression and whatnot, or like how, like what exactly do you mean by that?
Yeah, it was an outlet for me to express how I was feeling because oftentimes it's really difficult for me to talk directly about what I'm feeling. So putting it into either vaguer words or a metaphor or just a song in general, it helps me get across what I'm feeling in a more serious way than if I were to talk about it because I always feel awkward talking about it. So writing music has always helped me feel better because it's an outlet for me to get out what I'm thinking.
At what point did you like come up to the idea of like actually putting them out there? Like,
I wrote a really shitty song. Sorry, am I allowed to swear?
I don't give a fuck.
Okay, cool. I wrote a really shitty song in like 3rd grade that I posted on my YouTube channel. And I was actually playing the guitar, had no idea how to play the guitar. I was just strumming it with no notes. And that's the first time I ever put my music out there. And none of the lyrics made sense. It sounded like shit. And then my siblings found it and they made fun of me ruthlessly. So I privated it and it will not be going public anytime soon. But that was the first time I considered making, or like the first time that I ever made anything that I did creatively public. Well, not creatively, but because I did post before that. But the first time that I'd made any sort of musical thing public. Other than that, I performed a song at my elementary school's 6th grade talent show. And that's kind of the first time that I realized that I liked performing. I liked the reception that I got. I liked that people thought that I was talented. When I realized that I wanted to put music out there, it was in 8th grade because I started posting the songs I was writing on TikTok, and people on there were really enjoying them. And I really wanted to record them and release, but jeez. But
You good, man?
I just had no way to do that, so I didn't. Um, and then at Girls Rock, um, when I was 15, I excuse me, got I played one of my original songs. I played Selfish at the Waukee Arts Festival, and I got 3 offers to record it. And so I did. I ended up recording it with the rest of my record 7th. Um, and I've always wanted to be able to put my stuff out there because if it makes somebody feel, I know how music makes me feel. I know that it expresses sometimes what I can't express even with my own work. And if I can do that for somebody else, that's kind of all that matters to me, is that it's helping people and that people are enjoying my art.
It kind of speaking on Girls of Rock, like in Girls Rock. Is it Girls of Rock or Girls Rock? I didn't bother to look it up. Sorry.
No, you're all good. It's Girls Rock.
Okay, there's no of.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Like at what point do like I know and you said like you were in there for a couple of years at the point when you were 15. Like, at what point did you? I don't think it was really specified in the past. Like when we were all together before. When did you join? Like when was Girls Rock? Like when did you start it? And like, cause you all of you agreed that like it was basic. It was like a really good time for your well, I'll just say careers.
Yeah, I started when I was 15. I believe Lotus was the same age. I don't know what years Cam and Vivian did it, but I know that both of them also did School of Rock. But yeah, I'm not entirely sure what years they did Girls Rock, other than one year Cam and I were put in a band together when we were 17. But yeah, I did it for 2 years. 2 years? 3 years? I did it when I was 15, and then I did, oh geez. I think I did it for 2 years. But I know I was 15 during the first one. So I'm not entirely No, I was 15 and then 16, and then I don't know. My brain is like, I don't know.
Because I
Um,
know I met Vivian and like I that's how I had that's how I originally knew that you like all you guys were in a band because like that she was 15. I mean she was 17. I 16, 17, one of the two, and so like that's and I assume you guys are like barely a year apart.
yeah.
Yeah. So like between so around 15, 17, something like that.
Yeah. Now that I'm thinking about it, it was 2022 and 2023. So I was 15 and then 16.
Yeah, no worries. My brain is crap too. I honestly don't remember half the stuff. I'll probably forget this tomorrow.
Yeah.
But like moving along, why was girls rock like such a bit like important thing for you? You think was it just a place to have a room to grow or what?
Yeah, basically. It really encouraged me to want to continue growing because I kind of reached a point where I felt like I was stagnant with all the instruments that I played, despite the fact that there's always room to grow, and I still have a ton of room to grow. But they kind of threw me onto the drums. So I learned how to play the drums during my first year of Girls Rock, and that was really awesome. But not only that, it gave me the confidence to put myself out there in a creative space without getting embarrassed. And it really just made me a lot more confident on stage as an artist because for the first time, I was playing my own music in front of people, in front of a lot of people, and they were enjoying it. And that was what gave me the confidence to become who I am today. And I don't know, it was a really, really great space to be in for a growing artist.
And did all of you like join together because and they like formed you guys together, or did you guys like would you be allowed to play like separate if you could? Like how does that all work? Because you said they threw you on drums.
Girls Rock forms the bands based on age group. So Lotus and I were put in the same band in 2022, but I didn't know Vivian or Cam back then. And then Cam and I were put in the same band in 2023. And then I met Vivian through Cam, and we formed Sarahtonin outside of Girls Rock. But we all had the experience of doing that camp.
Who do you think you are outside of music?
I am a manager at a movie theater. I like to draw. I am really bad at sitting down and watching TV shows or movies, despite the fact that I'm a manager at a movie theater. I'd say that I'm a pretty good leader in positions where I need to be. I struggle a lot with school. I guess I struggled. I graduated early thanks to the fact that I took a full schedule of classes in ninth grade. School was never my thing. I liked the social aspect of it, but I really struggled with especially math because I was a big English kid, a big art kid. Ironically enough, I never took choir, but I took orchestra for, oh God, 8, 9 years. Music is a giant part of my life, but outside of it, I'd say that I'm a pretty hard worker. I work a lot to get to the places where I want to be. I have a hard time making decisions, but I try to be a good friend. I don't think I'm bad at being a good friend. I like to listen, I like to talk, and I'd say that without art, I wouldn't be me.
I wanted to talk about maybe your new song and sorry about the Anthrax. I think I said that right, correct?
Yes, yeah, yeah, yeah.
You released it back on December 12th, 2024. I'm 2025. My bad. What was it? What do you wanted to put this out? Like what was the goal? You think?
So that song, I wrote it in June of 2023. So it was a long time coming. It was a long time in the works. And I guess my goal with it was, I guess that song is basically it's the first happy song that I ever wrote, and it's about my lovely boyfriend. I guess the goal with it was not only to show my musical growth after not having put a song out in 2 years, but the entire point of that song is that it's just to express my love, and I composed it for a full orchestra and I got to play it with my high school orchestra. And I think that that was one of my biggest displays of love that I've ever done publicly. Is nerve wracking to tell an entire auditorium of hundreds of people, I love my boyfriend. But I think that it was really important to me that I got it out. Not only because I wanted to listen to it myself, because I just like the song. I don't care that I wrote it. I don't care if it's like egotistical or whatever. I ate that shit and I worked so hard on it. It's always been a very important song to me, and it was the first jazz piece that I ever wrote. So I guess the overall goal with it was just it showed my growth in several ways. Not only that I got over the person that Seventh was about, but I grew as an artist.
You could kind of hear the "Fly Me to the Moon" vibes within it. Is Neil Diamond like an inspiration to you guys, or just you?
I've actually never listened to Neil Diamond.
You never heard "Fly Me to the Moon"? Because it sounds
I
you can
have,
hear.
yes.
Is that like what? But like, is that kind of like where you got the idea for the background of it?
No, it is not. Um, I was scrolling on Instagram and I saw a video by one of our musical buddies, Mia Prosperi, and she was talking about writing a song with the jazz progression 251. And I know nothing about music theory, but I went, this seems fun. I'll try it out. So I wrote a progression and then I wrote the rest of the song on top of it on my uncle's piano because I didn't want to be around everybody. Not because I hate them, but because it was really overwhelming and I missed my boyfriend a lot. I went on on vacation for a week, 2 weeks after making things official with my boyfriend. So, obviously, I was really missing him, and so I kind of isolated myself, and then that song ended up coming to fruition.
How did your boyfriend react to? Wait, were you a boyfriend and boyfriend in the auditorium, or was that beforehand?
When the orchestra played it, that was actually December of 2024. So, the timeline was we got together in mid-June of 2023. I wrote Sorry About the Anthrax in early July of 2023. We played the song as an orchestra in 2024, and then I released it in December of 25.
How did your boyfriend react to the whole song? Did he know beforehand, so he kind of had time to know beforehand, or because that had to been something?
Yeah, he knew beforehand. I forced him to come, obviously. No, I'm kidding. But I was like, I want you there because this is really important, obviously. He's always been one of my biggest supporters. So yeah, it's always been nice to share with him what I am writing because a lot of it is about him and a lot of it kind of gets out things that would be kind of awkward to say in a regular conversation, but not awkward to say in a love song. I know orchestra concerts are not always the most fun to sit through for somebody with a short attention span, but I was like, you can't miss this.
Have you ever thought about putting the idea of music away? At a point, do you ever think the world has to come first or something like that?
I think that music will always be a part of me no matter what I do. I'll always keep writing. I've reached a really big point of writer's block in the last year or so because I've been focusing so much on, and while most of my songs write themselves kind of in my head, I just haven't had that happening recently and I've been really stuck, which has been okay with me since I have to focus so hard on producing what I already have written. But I don't think that I will ever fully be detached from my career as a musician because it's such a big part of me now that it'll never not be a part of me in the future, even if I don't write anymore.
But you have said it's because of you. You are the real even though you guys kind of co-op the songs, it's mainly you, Sarah, that like it comes from within. Like, is there a reason you chose to make some of your songs have a darker tone to them, such as like 18?
Yeah, back to using music as a coping mechanism. That's why some of the songs have a darker tone to them, because it's really just the most raw emotions of me struggling. With 18, that's a really, really, really personal song. It's about a very close family friend who committed suicide. And I hadn't really processed it much until I wrote that song. And still, it's hard to process every day because grief and death are very, very difficult things. But that's where a lot of the darker tones in my songs come from, is that I don't write a lot of happy music. Like I mentioned, Sorry About the Anthrax was the first happy song that I ever wrote. So music has always been a way for me to get my negative emotions out without feeling like I'm burdening people with a bunch of word vomit, because that's always been an issue with me, is that I feel like when I talk to people about my issues, it's a burden, but when I put it into music, it's art instead.
Like you said, this is kind of like your first like at least writer song. Like, would you ever just to making like happier, like I don't want to say happier, but like more uplifting songs, or like maybe like going off of maybe your bandmates or something like that?
Yeah, I think that ever since I did start dating my boyfriend, a lot of my music started taking at least a more hopeful turn. We're hoping to release a song, Keep Your Eye Out, and that one is another love song that is really centered around the idea of hope and the attempt of improvement.
You also stated how like in a sense the writing comes within. It's always been alive, but like so when you write it out, that's like what brings it to life and everything. Has your like style evolved, do you think, over time? Because like I know for like this show and just basically in general with like content making, like I sorry that sounds super sad, but besides
No,
that, content creating, like it's like I've definitely evolved. Like, what do you think that is for you? Because I mean I can't really say myself personally, but I think you definitely have a good style.
yeah, thank you. I definitely have evolved, I think, not only because time has passed, but especially because time has passed. Because when I wrote all of Seventh, the first song on there was written when I was 14, and the last song on there was written when I was 16. Well, I guess in order of the track list, I think I'm Gonna Kill Myself Today was written when I was 16. Dream Boy was written when I was 15. Blood Rush was written when I was 15. 18 when I was also written when I was 15. Selfish was when I was 14, and Sleepless Saturday Nights was when I was 16. So, growing up more and more, I think my style has really, at least for me, it's noticeably changed, because I think I use a lot more mature language. I think I use a lot better, not better chord progressions, but ones that are more complex or are easier to build on top of. I think the subjects have gotten more serious as well. And a lot of the music that I am recording and producing currently was also written when I was 16, but I started going through a lot of tough, serious shit when I was 16. So I think that 3 years later, it still holds up, because it was serious, and despite the fact that I will I manage a lot of 16-year-olds at my job, and despite the fact that I'll be like, "Wow, you guys are children." I'm like, "I was too," but a lot of my writing still makes me feel like, "Wow, that's some shit for a 16-year-old to have to write."
Yeah, no, totally. Do you mean like it doesn't really matter either way, but like do you mean children as in like you're you're amateurs and stuff like that?
It's mainly just realizing, um,
They're young.
how yeah, they're young. and missing what it was like to be naive, because I definitely grew up way too fast to the point where I know I'm going to regress as an adult. But I've been told by multiple people that that's not necessarily a bad thing. You just have to maintain your adult responsibilities while trying to miss out, or while trying to relive the years that you missed out on as a teenager because you had to grow up too fast. And so sometimes when I look at my employees that are young, I'm like, man, I wish that I was able to be naive, and I wish that I was able to be as young and have such silly problems, because not like people's problems are, not serious compared to others, because everybody's struggles are unique and different and affect everybody differently. But when I was 16, I went through some really adult shit, and I wish that my biggest problems were school drama instead of what I had to go through.
For the people in general who do listen and they want to hear your stuff, what should we expect from it? Like, where all are you gonna go, and like, how are you even gonna fund this thing?
So we have a band bank account that we've had for a year, almost 2 years. And we've been saving pretty much for years for this tour. Not specifically for the tour, but for any future expenses like a tour and merchandise and stuff like that, equipment. But on tour is another way that we're going to be funded, because really quick fun fact, almost all of the money that bands make is off of their own merchandise. So if you buy one CD for $10, that is equivalent to 1,666 streams on Spotify, because
Jesus.
Spotify only pays 6 thousandths of a cent per stream, which means 2 streams is 1 penny. So in the grand scheme of things, I haven't even made $200 off of my own music on streaming platforms in the last 3 years. So, what's really important is that people are buying merch and buying tickets and supporting, because that's really how bands make money. And that's how we're going to fund our tour. As for where we're touring in March. We are going to Minneapolis, St. Paul, Omaha, Kansas City, Milwaukee, Grand Rapids, and Chicago. I can't remember if I'm missing anything.
It's like you said you were coming back to the XBK or something like that on the way back, maybe.
Maybe. I'm not entirely sure yet. It's a lot more difficult to take time off as a manager now. So putting another date on might be hard as a
No,
manager now.
I just
But
thought I saw like there was like you made like a poster saying XBK, or maybe you just already
oh,
played there. And
yeah, we are playing at XBK on February 22nd for the Mosher Macabron Macbrahan. Am I s- I'm I woke up like 2 hours ago, so my brain is musty. But
that's chill.
we are playing at the Mosher Macbrahan release show on Sunday, February 22nd. So that is our next show. So we are going to be back at XBK then. But yeah.
Did sound for you a little bit earlier. Are they coming on tour with you to do sound material?
No, she works for a local, actually I don't know if it's local, but she works for an audio engineering company. So when we go on tour, all of the people working sound are going to be the audio engineers in the area. So as far as I know, she's staying here.
What happened to the whole plan? Like you and Cam said you were gonna stick here, and then like, and I guess that still can potentially happen. But you and Cam said you were gonna stick here, and Vivian and Lotus said that they were gonna go to like college or something along the lines of that. Is that not the plan anymore, or like what's the is it adjusted ever since we talked?
That's still the plan. Vivian is in college. She's in Cedar Rapids currently. Lotus, I believe, just started her first semester. And then Cam and I are still working. I believe Cam is going off to college this fall, but I'm just still going to work. I'm not planning on going to college for the time being.
Will you ever go to college?
Maybe if I get bored enough in my 30s.
No, I feel that. What are you? What would you do? Just like musical like degree, or like yeah? Are you? Do you have an idea? Like, if you do end up doing it?
I always joke about becoming a lawyer, but I'm no way smart enough for that.
Hey, if you have, I mean, I guess if you do the LSAT, at least you have something to tell people. So
That's true.
that's what they said in the Twinless movie. At least have something to tell people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? The Twinless movie, Dylan O'Brien.
I don't know if I've ever seen that movie.
Oh, it's
I
on
don't watch a
Hulu.
lot of movies, actually.
Oh, well, should it's a good, it's a decent movie. It's a good twist, but I won't spoil it or anything. But my last technical question, I'm just curious. Like you said like you're not really motivated if there's not like a cost to it, and then money's like important if you're with like your tour and like why with like the tour in general. Like it's with there barely being money raked in. Why do you do it? Like why did you all of a sudden do it when there's not really money to like, or like there's not really a value to it, you know?
Well, there's not a lot of money in streaming, but when it comes to being paid for gigs and all of the merch that we've sold, there actually is a lot of money there.
How much you
And
making?
even if we're not, the most that we had in our band bank account was, I believe, 2,500, and that was over last summer. We were playing a lot of gigs, we were selling a lot of merch, but even if we don't make it back up to 2,500 during our tour, or even if we end up losing money in the band bank account during tour, I don't really care because I get to spend time with my band. We get to go to all these cool places. I'm bringing my boyfriend along. He's going to get to see his sister in Grand Rapids, which I'm really excited about because she's wonderful. I'm really thinking about it as this is an experience. This is a massive point in all of our musical careers. And even if it doesn't, make us famous or whatever, it's getting our name out there. It's getting our name in other states. And that's just really special that we get to share our art with so many more people.
Well, if unless there's anything last you want to say, if you remember from last time, I have this last minute thing where you get the guest gets 15 seconds to share out whatever you remember what I'm talking about, kinda.
Yes.
All right, 3, 2, go.
All right. Follow Sarahtonin Music on Instagram. That's Sarah with an H because I'm better than all of the Sarahs without an H. I'm sorry. Um, Follow Sarahtonin on all streaming platforms. That's Sarah with an H once again. Stream Sorry About the Anthrax.
What's up? It's me, your boy Ronick. I'm just ending this off. Thank you for checking this interview out with our guest, homeboy Sarah, lead of Sarahtonin. It was great to hear about their life story. If you recently, for some reason, we've been on a guest, we've been on a roll with musicians coming on, and a musician wanting to come on. We got basically our first like hit up saying, "Hey, can I come on your show?" If you are new here, my name is Ronico Taylor. I run the Tired Granola Bar podcast, and every episode on Spotify or YouTube on here is every Wednesday. Unless it's a mix up, I never forget. This show is the bomb, and in further ado, I'm just gonna leave you to it. Listen to Saratonin's new song, Sorry for the Anthrax. I hope you enjoy. All of their stuff is down in the description. I always try to put it down there, so hold me accountable if I don't, people. And without further ado, again, goodbye and see you next Wednesday. Peace, babies. Later.